It's in the game.
Tonight we're live from a very unexpected place, Celtic Park, for the final Champions League phase game between Celtic and Arsenal, with many Arsenal youngsters making their starts, in particular young goalkeeper Daniel Jennings. Well, what a night for many of Arsenal's young stars, coming up in the Champions League against Celtic, a team that are no slouches. But of course, this was all made possible by Arsenal already qualifying for the final 16 round automatically. And it could be quite the prospect, to be fair. Celtic have a really good squad, including Premier League winner Kasper Schmeichel, who, funny fact, I actually completely forgot was even here. Well, taking a look at the Celtic lineup to start with, of course, Kasper Schmeichel plays in goal. Brendan Rodgers is now the manager here again. I think he's returned for a second stint. Carter Vickers, you might remember. McGregor is, of course, the captain. Kuhn, Mendia and Furushi have a chance tonight because Arsenal are debuting goalkeeper Daniel Jenkins. Oh, actually, Jennings, my apologies. I got the first name right. But Daniel Jennings actually makes his Arsenal debut today, and he's actually taking over the mantra more or less from Roberto Neto, who got recalled on his loan from Bournemouth, really due to really decent performances that he had throughout. But of course, he kind of fell out of favour with David Raya for the most majority of it, so maybe that had something to do with it. So Munhand is in the midfield. Monios and Reg are the centre of defence today. And up front, it's Butler Ojuji with Wanyeri, and a few experienced hands include Leandro Trossard and I believe Martin Odegaard as well. Yes, you are singing, or you are hearing You'll Never Walk Alone. Celtic sing it too, which was actually a fun fact I learned very recently. So, Celtic Park, a stunning place. I think it's called Rangers is the Ibrox, isn't it? I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about the Scottish Premiership. I do know, well, I think they're called the Premier League. I'm not sure what it's called now. Or the SPL. It could be either of those. Kogo. Oh, and Jennings. Jennings with the first decent save as Arsenal goalkeeper. And I don't think Brendan Rodgers was expecting that when he drew it up earlier. Well, that's a sign of things to come. Sign me up, I think will be what Mikel Arteta is saying there. Sign me up to play this kid, because that was very impressive for a very early save. I believe he is only, I think he's 18. He could be even 16. So big responsibility on very young shoulders here. But he's been doing very well in the youth tournaments that Arsenal have partook in, obviously away from the league play. That's Martin Odegaard. So Martin Odegaard, I think it's Jorginho who's the other one, and Leo Trossard are the three kind of, not veterans, but, you know, Arsenal hands to help all these young boys out. Kieran Tierney is another who's there. I think Tomiyasu is the other one. Couldn't got the ball back there. And there is Jorginho. Hand to Reek and Tomiyasu. And we have a score coming in. Aston Villa, well, they've had a below par season, but they are up against Bouvigeres, and there's still places up for grabs. The final two automatic qualification places are still up for grabs. And I believe Celtic is still in a kind of battle of their own to either get there or confirm their status in at least the playoff bracket. So even though there's only one game left, there's still almost all to play for. Here's a look at the league phase table. It's still Inter Milan. Arsenal's win over Fenerbahce meant that they overtook Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid. So if they somehow get a win tonight, they may actually win the league phase. Inter Milan still have to play. Daniel Jennings will be hopeful that that went over the bar. Thankful, rather, that went over the bar. I am really messing up today. But in any case, Celtic probably looked at this Arsenal team this morning and thought we could probably get a result from this. But as we've experienced so many times this season, it seems that no matter who Arsenal put out, they still managed to get something. And here would be a crucial result. But they are led by Captain Marvel, Martin Odegaard, who's only 26 himself. So he's no older player either. So it is a relatively young Arsenal side and a peek into their future perhaps. Reek has done really well in the appearances he's made. That's for sure. I've been really impressed with him on the defensive side. But although JG is tasked with maybe getting a goal or two today, Jorginho forces a save out of Schmeichel. Oh, JG's going to get there, and Kasper Schmeichel doing Schmeichel things. That is vintage Schmeichel. A brilliant double save. Much like his old man. Here is O'Reilly. Well, there was a time when Celtic were an unstoppable juggernaut, really, in the SPL. They had such talented players at one point. I think at one point they were led by Brendan Rodgers that time as well. Here is Dazin. And Dazin chooses not to shoot. And Cunha's offside. And Dazin really could have taken the shot on here. I'm not sure why he didn't. It's a perfect place to at least try a shot, force Jennings into a save. Well, if Daniel Jennings has the kind of debut that most other youngsters have had of Arsenal over the course of the last couple of seasons, then maybe we'll remember his name in the future as well. Well, it's fair to say that Jennings was rather drafted in after the whole saga, really, that Bournemouth wanted Neto back because he'd done so well. And to be fair, he had. But he was put in the shade by David Raya for the majority of games. I don't think that would have had really any effect on much, to be honest. I think it was more performance-based. But I'm sure Bournemouth had about 3 or 4 goalkeepers on their books already. So I don't know what the rush was. I guess we'll never know. Neto certainly didn't request to go back. He'd even said so in an interview he did after he returned. He said, well, I didn't ask to go back. I was actually really enjoying my time there. And I think that's been the case with Arsenal this season, just the enjoyment of everything. Of course, it's all going swiggily well and they're winning. And they haven't really lost since Real Madrid. Over a few months ago now. That's great take by Tierney there. Tierney's definitely holding on to the ball very well here. And here's Oeji. And Schmeichel gets there again. It's going to be a tough night for Arsenal. They're coming up against a Schmeichel. And Kasper is just as capable and talented as his old man was. And now he's got the Premier League winners medal to show for it as well. And I'm so happy about that. Being a Manchester United fan, probably after Peter Schmeichel's time at United. I think it was the same year the treble was won. So I probably knew of him somewhere. But I never really got to watch his career. So to see Kasper winning a Premier League medal, it put a smile on my face. And I think that was the smile of everybody else as well, because that was obviously with Leicester City in the miracle year, which everyone wanted Leicester to win that one. It didn't matter what team you support, Leicester City won the hearts of everybody that year. Here's Leo Trossard trying to find Bolaji, and it's a good goal, to be fair. It takes a special effort to beat a Schmeichel, and Bolaji has got it, of all people. So, no Isak on... I think he's even on the bench. And no Saka. Martinelli is obviously injured, but that's all no problem. Oeji that's a very good strike, to be fair. And what a hit by Oeji. That is beautifully taken. Okay. And I think Mikel Arteta's even surprised by that outcome. But Oeji, what a goal. Arsenal 1, Celtic 0. It really doesn't matter who you put out there for Arsenal. They still find a way to score. The most unlikely score of the season. I think Bolaji's already scored this year somewhere. He's not really played that much as other debutants, well, not debutants, but other kind of young players tonight. Rank has certainly played a lot more. Wanyeri's played a lot more as well. Borussia Dortmund and Liverpool is 1-1. I think there might have been a red card there because no scoreline came up. Oeji was there again with a strike. Kasper Schmeichel spent a stint in France with... Or was it Italy with Fiorentina was he at? Kind of sad that he left Leicester, really. I thought he would have been one of those that would have been a mainstay, to be honest. But then I think we all thought the same of Peter Schmeichel. And he ended up playing for Manchester City. And I don't think many United fans cared, because he'd already given Manchester United his prime years. So he probably went with their blessing, more or less. To a degree, anyway, because it is Manchester City, but... I think that just said Celtic have had a lot more of the ball, which you wouldn't really believe with the scoreline right now. Well, Jennings has made one good save. Here comes Trossard. On the Luigi again, and he's offside this time. Well, Arteta's belief in his young core has been validated all through the season. I think the kind of Schmeichel fan in me probably wants Celtic to get some sort of result here, but Arsenal really are just on another planet with their football at the moment. Scoring just so many goals from so many different scenarios and players. Good save by Jennings. He's had a very good first half. The scenes, if he was able to get a clean sheet here in the Champions League, a young, very young player, it would certainly be a story. And Arsenal has been full of stories this season. And all good ones, really. Win at the Etihad, and the title, well, not at the Etihad, but win against Manchester City at the Emirates, roared on by that home crowd. And the title could just be finally heading to the N5 after a 20-year or so wait for Arsenal. Tierney, the space he has. Celtic not closing him down. And Schmeichel with another good save. He spent nothing less. Kind of gutted, because he made a really good double save early on, but Arsenal's scoring power is just beyond pretty much any defence at the moment. Even City's, they did score two in a somewhat fight for a comeback, and Jennings with another good save. Daniel Jennings has had a superb first half right here. Johnson to McGregor. Score coming in. Feyenoord and Atletico Madrid I think it's 1-1. It went away very quickly. Still all to play for. I think for Strum and another club at the bottom. I think it was sayonara to their Champions League year. I'm hoping we'll get the Europa League standings at the end of the match. Just to kind of find out who's going through on there. Because last we saw, Manchester United were heading for the exit door. Jennings gathers that up again. Well, if it is the only game Daniel Jennings is going to play this season because of the title run-in scenario that Arsenal are going to find themselves in, then what better way to mark your probably only game of the season with a clean sheet? It would certainly be a story. Comes offside. Lewis to Reddick. Tomiyasu. Arsenal probably playing a little bit slower, just probably trying to get through this game. They're probably not looking to score that many goals. Here's Odegaard though. And saved by Kasper Schmeichel. Oh, Reggie comes in again. Well, he's certainly eager. He's probably the only eager one of this side, really. I don't think don't think Arsenal are going to get out of at least second gear tonight. They're probably going to take it a little bit easier. They still want to win, mind you. And you can applaud that effort. Mikel Arteta just wants to send a message to the last 16 teams. Or the other 15 teams in this bracket with him. Or the 8, or it'd be 7 at the moment. Because there are only 8 that are automatically through. And here's Origi again off across to Trossard. Got 2 minutes about it on time. Trossard brings it down wonderfully and a great save by Schmeichel. Oh, it feels good to say that. Even if Celtic are losing, it's so good to say. It's Johnston. Tackled by Tierney and out for a Celtic throw. Well, Celtic aren't the only Scottish side representing in Europe this season. Rangers are obviously in the Europa League, I believe. And, well, it's all going according to plan for Arsenal, really. It's probably not what they initially drew up. But Origi scored a fantastic goal to beat Schmeichel. But the man of the moment is Daniel Jennings. A clean sheet and a well-earned one in the first half. Well, welcome to the second half here at Celtic Park. We're witnessing a lot of history tonight. Many young Arsenal players are making their Champions League debuts to a degree. I think some of them have already played, like Mon Lewis and Tierney, I think. Well, not Tierney, but Reek, I think, played. Brother Origi might have done as well. I think Hans certainly did, 2 at one point. But one noticeable one is Daniel Jennings making his Arsenal debut as a whole tonight. And he's made a good save there as well. He's certainly looking the part tonight. He's certainly not nervous about the occasion and blinded by the spotlights, and not just in the stadium. Well, blinded by the bling bling is absolutely... I'm not very sure where I was going with that. I was using a dodgeball reference for anyone who was wondering. But Jennings is certainly looking the part tonight. He's not been nervous at all. He's gone about his business and done it really well. And another good save, and he gathers it as well. Jennings looks unbeatable. And Lewis is giving it to Soyberg, and Celtic get it back. And they put it wide there. And there's Calvori, a star-studded bench that Arteta is probably very reluctant to use, because he'll have 2 matches against Manchester City coming up and an FA Cup against Spurs coming up too. In the month of February, I believe. We're hearing about this transfer from FC20 for Celtic again. I'm not sure why the game keeps bringing that up. But in any case, here comes Celtic again. And they finally beat Daniel Jennings tonight. And the answer is no. He makes another good save. Daniel Jennings, remember the name. And here's Dayton for Celtic. Can he do it? No. And Celtic, their fans must be wondering what they have to do to beat this kid. Because he is standing in their way. What a performance from Daniel Jennings in his first 53 minutes. Well, we say first, but 53 minutes into his debut, and he is probably shone the brightest, to be completely honest. Luigi's strike was sensational, but Jennings is keeping the clean sheet, and that ain't a bad kick either. And we were talking about Manchester City against, with Manchester City matches coming up next for Arsenal. I believe that league encounter at the Etihad is next. That could decide the title. Arsenal are 2 points clear, and that could well settle it. It won't settle it completely. And Real Madrid have scored against Bestros. No surprises there. Vinicius Junior scores. It won't decide the title, but it will certainly be a big stepping stone for whoever wins it. And if Arsenal win it, they go 5 points clear. So the stakes are high in that match. City have not lost all season long. In fact, yes, they did. They lost to Chelsea, I think. That was their first loss of the season. And that's why Arsenal were back in the lead of the table. So Chelsea, once again, being involved in a title race. Don't forget that they were involved in the one with Leicester. And I think they beat Spurs, didn't they? I talked about Spurs and how they were involved in a title. I think it was Spurs and Leicester that year, wasn't it? And Chelsea won, and Rek with a beautiful strike. And I don't think the defender knew much about it. But yeah, I think my memory's coming back to me now. I think it was Leicester and Spurs, and Chelsea beat Spurs for Leicester to win the title, I think. It could have been the other way around as well. I'm not entirely sure. But in any case, Nice have scored against... I think it's Monaco that has scored against Nice, actually. It's 2-1 there. And Celtic are West again. Well, it's certainly a low scoring game by Arsenal standards, but they'll take it because they've got almost nobody really known in their ranks tonight. Only Trossard and Odegaard were the ones people really know about. And here is Odegaard with a header. Oh, it was a free header from Odegaard. Probably should have brought it down, to be honest. And that will be Martin Odegaard's last action of the game. Load management is back in effect. Jack Henry Francis has also come on for Hand, and Charlie Pantano has come on for Martin Odegaard. So the captain makes way. And if I'm right, I think that makes Trossard the captain, although I'm not entirely sure who it could be. I'll point it out when I see it. It could be Patino, actually. He's Dyson. He's put it over. Celtic's shooting has not been great, to be completely honest. Palmer's coming on for Kuhn. And Celtic certainly have not been far in all cylinders today, but Daniel Jennings has done his fair share of keeping them out as well. Francis heads down to Jorginho. I think it's Jorginho that has taken the captain's armband from Odegaard, and he finds Trossard. There's an Arsenal throw. And it's another Arsenal throw. Puts it in towards Wanyeri. Is he going to get there? And Taylor's going to get there first. Pantano's come up with it. And he's done brilliantly to hold up the ball. Luigi has headed it down. It's a great goal from Luigi again. Well, well, well. A couple of stunning goals by Butler Luigi, of all people. That was wonderfully done. He headed it down and used an outside leg to put the ball past Schmeichel. Wonderfully done. Wonderfully done indeed. Casper was coming out. Didn't get out quickly enough. Well, Brendan Rodgers has got to be shell-shocked. His team are beaten by someone who's barely played, to be fair, but he's making his own mark. And at the other end, they can't score because Jennings has been sensational all night. It's certainly one of the most oddball wins Arsenal will score this season, but they'll take it. It's not one they necessarily needed to win, like urgently, but they win it anyway. Because this squad is stacked with experience, superstars in Isak, and young kids of the future like Henry Francis and Jennings and Reed, for examples, and even Butler Luigi maybe at some point today, for Arsenal's future. Every stature of this squad is looking incredibly bright in their near futures. Wonderfully done by Celtic attacker, but he couldn't finish it off. Well, this young boy, he's done brilliantly, hasn't he? This is almost an Arteta version of the class of 92. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves here, because the class of 92 will tower above most of these other young players for the moment. But Arteta's certainly got his own version going. Daniel Jennings with another save. This kid is inspired. Celtic corner. I really hope he keeps it now. I really do. I think Jennings has had a deserving of a clean sheet tonight, so I hope he gets it. I'm really rooting for him now. He's certainly winning the hearts of Arsenal fans. Oh, Pollard, what a pass. It won't go anywhere, but it was lovely to look at. Celtic to McGregor, and he's wide again. Well, for the other 80%, Celtic haven't had their shooting boots on. Well, Butler Luigi, if nothing else, can say, I scored 2 against Kasper Schmeichel. And 2 really good goals at that, to be fair. You can't put the blame on Schmeichel for both of them. Luigi just had really good strike and then very good control on the header and control enough on the shot not to put it over or wide. It was a couple of well-taken goals from the kid. I think it's Trossard. Arsenal coming through the gears now. I think the kind of neutral, being the fan of Schmeichel and Jennings doing ever so well, I think I would have wanted it to be 0-0, to be fair. But Arsenal have been brilliant again. Ojo, and he's put it over. Probably should have made a lot more of it, to be honest. See, there's a lot of times when they're not even testing Jennings, they're just putting it over. But the kid has dealt with the pressure ever so well, to be fair. It was a stunning save to start the half with. The first half, that is. Butler Luigi again. He's certainly up for it. And he's going into the box. And that time, Kasper Schmeichel gets a measure of revenge. Well, not revenge, but a measure of success, really, against Luigi, because Luigi's been great tonight, to be fair. And Tierney has been fouled. Arsenal play on. Manchester City have just scored. Phil Foden has made it 1-1 for them now. Now, City are, I think, they're in the top 10. So that's not going to help them too much. They fell behind early on. But Phil Foden has just equalised. So if they spur on and win this game, or win that game they're in, it'll be interesting. Joe, and Jennings. What a save. The boy has been sensational. Well, Roberto Neto was certainly very capable in his own right and played very well in the games he was brought on for. He was recalled from Bournemouth, and it looks like his replacement, because that's what he is, Daniel Jennings, is picking up right where Neto left off, to be fair. Wow. Well, if Jennings continues on like this, David Raya might have some competition. I mean, not for right now. I think it is going to be David Raya all day long. He is the Golden Glove leader in the Premier League. For a reason. But certainly for a good backup role, Jennings is doing wonderfully well. Botherwedgie scored, and he was going for it. Botherwedgie was going for the ball when Schmeichel knew it was coming. Shame that one team has to lose today, because the Celtic goal has a favourite player of mine, and the second one has a very sensational young keeper standing in between the sticks doing a great job. Now, what are we going to have for this? It's going to be a booking for Lewis Palmer. We've seen red cards given for that, but I think it's because it's in the defensive end for Arsenal, so to speak. Arteta's asking for a red card. Brendan Rodgers is there as well. I think they're having words. Brendan Rodgers, it's kind of unfortunate, really, that his time at other clubs didn't really work out so well in terms of trophy numbers. Because again, Brendan Rodgers is probably one of those I would have really put in line for the United job at one point, but I think after he joined Liverpool, that was pretty much out of the question, for obvious reasons. Well, it's not been a spectacle tonight, but it was never supposed to be. But I'll tell you something, Daniel Jennings has been an absolute standout tonight. Botherwedgie may have scored twice against Schmeichel, which was actually very well earned considering the differences in the two players. Kasper Schmeichel, an absolute veteran at this point, and Botherwedgie really at the beginning of his Arsenal career, more or less. So a really good effort there. But Daniel Jennings has been absolutely tremendous and keeping a clean sheet in a Champions League game and having no fear. Now, maybe that has something to do with the fact that there was no pressure on him tonight, but even still, he's going to gather that one as well. Even still, he's performed very well. And Arsenal probably desperately want to keep the ball just long enough for the whistle to blow so he can get the clean sheet. And he's going to get it because we're past 5 minutes. There you go. Well, a scrappy game with 2 goals from Botherwedgie. One that was both were very well taken. But the man of the night for me, Daniel Jennings, a sensational performance in goal, keeping a clean sheet in one of the most crucial atmospheres a young player can ever face. And Botherwedgie deserves just as much credit, to be fair. These young kids for Arsenal really played their parts well tonight in a win that wasn't necessarily needed, but Arteta will take it nonetheless. Celtic 0, Arsenal 2. What a game for all those kids out there. So let's take a look at the final games scores and what that means for the final league phase table. Bretros lost to Real Madrid by a goal to 0. Nice 1, Monaco 2. Strum lose again, 2-1 against AC Milan. Club Brugge 0, PSV 1. PSG 1, Galatasaray 0. Stuttgart 0, Juventus 2. Liverpool 1, Borussia Dortmund 1. RB Leipzig 2, Bayer Leverkusen 0. Farons 1, Manchester City 1, Inter Milan 1, Barcelona 2, and Barcelona 2, which actually has implications for the league phase. Young Boys lost to Genoa by 1-3. Celtic 0, Arsenal 2. Dunfermline 0, Bayern Munich 1. Aston Villa finally got a win on the board, but it should be enough to secure the playoff spot against Fiorentina. Final 2, Atletico Madrid 2, Shakhtar Donetsk 2, Fenerbahce 0, Sporting Lisbon 1, Atlanta 2, and finally Benfica 2, Bologna 2. So Arsenal win the league phase table, with thanks to Inter Milan drawing. Paris Saint-Germain 3rd, with Real Madrid 4th. RB Leipzig, great effort from them in 5th, with AC Milan, Atletico Madrid, and Juventus completing the automatic qualification places, mean that City and Leverkusen just miss out. City more surprisingly. Benfica are 11th and in. Genoa are in 12th. Galatasaray and Bayern Munich are in. So some of the big teams did make it. Borussia Dortmund in. Liverpool in 17th. Shakhtar Donetsk in 18th. Let's use Monaco's there in 15th as well. So Monaco did pretty well. Genoa is the biggest surprise. Fenerbahce, Barcelona just making it by the skin of their teeth in 19th, 20th respectively. Barcelona have definitely had a troubling league phase, but somehow they made it. Villa do as well in 21st. Celtic do despite losing. PSV are in as well. Benfica, and the final 3 places, Club Brugge, great effort from them. Bologna, Stade Bastos despite drawing against City are in. And Sporting Lisbon somehow have made it. And if it goes to 29, which it might, Froh Castana have made it as well. Feyenoord, Stuttgart, both out. Standard Liège gone. Broadbury gone. I don't think much was expected of them anyway. It's a great effort not to be bottom of the table for these two, actually, and to get points on the board. Graz have had a very painful league phase, to be fair, and are 35th, but the Young Boys had it slightly worse in 36th and last. And for all those teams, it's goodbye for another year. And that means that PSV will take on Manchester City in the playoff bracket. Benfica will take on Bayer Leverkusen. Aston Villa will take on Atlanta. And Fenerbahce will take on Granola FC. Liverpool will take on Galatasaray. Barcelona will have Bayern Munich in a tasty fixture, to be fair. Celtic have AS Monaco. And Shakhtar Donetsk have Borussia Dortmund. In the Europa League, Real Sociedad won it all. Or won the league phase anyway, beating Spurs at the very end. Spurs were leading at the halfway point. Roma are 3rd, followed by Rennes, Atletico Club in 5th, that's Atletico Bilbao of course, Ajax, Hoffenheim and Lyon completely automatic places, meaning in the playoffs it's Sparta Braga, Olympiacos, our Union, I think it's a Russian club I believe, Latium and Rangers are in, so both Celtic and Rangers are in their respective knockout brackets, or playoff brackets. Frankfurt, Hacken, Slava Piara, I think. Panathinaikos are in, as are Besiktas. Rako are in as well. Final places go to Antelet and Porto, who had a very below par year by their standards, but they're in. Transaspor are in, as are OGSC Nice. Nolia are also in. That's a shocking performance. That's wonderful. For them, Model are in as well. Victoria SC are 26th. 27th goes to Stevante. And I think Manchester United might have just made it there in 28th if the Europa League follows the same format. AIK are gone with AZ, Freiburg, Lutsk, Austria Vienna, Hosennud, and Libri BK. And finally, Shamrock Rovers only with 2 points. So this is what it means for the playoff bracket. Zhez Norlia have Rangers to entertain over, I think it's 2 legs, I think. Transport have Frankfurt, Nice have Harkin, and Panathinaikos have Salara Perara. And Manchester United did not make it. Besiktas, Sparta Praha, Antelet Olympiacos, Raiko and Union, and Porto and Latium are in, meaning Manchester United are knocked out, as if it couldn't get any worse for them this season.